So what stories are you telling your kids about what's going on right now? What stories are they absorbing from the media? And why did this mother have to lie to her son? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. It's incredible. We're seeing news that state police officers in Minnesota were slashing the tires of protesters. Who are the thugs now? Let me get this straight. There's an election going on in 5 states. Donald Trump is tweeting crazy crap. Bill Barr is calling out Trump's lies, something I never thought I'd see happen. We're going to get to all that stuff at the beginning of the next hour and into our third hour. There's a lot in the news, and I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive, but generally try to leave the last half hour of each hour available for your phone calls. Before I get to your calls, though, I just want to say, Christina Hale Elliott wrote an absolutely brilliant piece. It was posted over on Huffington Post, and let me just see if this was original. Yeah, it's a guest. She's a guest writer, so this was uniquely for Huffington Post. That's where you'd have to find it. And she writes, "Last week I lied to my child," and then she talks about how an entire week of media coverage. Your son is 9 years old. An entire week of media coverage. Her son has really gotten it, like deep down inside in his guts, that black people like him are being, particularly boys and men, are being murdered all across the United States by police. And she said, "I found my 9-year-old son crying profusely in his bed after watching all this TV. She said, my son was afraid. After with the recent murders of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd." So she writes, Christina Hale Elliott writes, "I lied and told him he didn't need to worry. I lied and told him that mommy and daddy would always protect him. I also reminded him of the steps he must always take to increase his chances of coming home alive should he ever be confronted by a police officer or a neighborhood vigilante." She adds, "Unlike many young children who fear the dark and the monsters that might be lurking in the shadows to attack, my son feared the monsters who might be lurking to attack him because of his darkness." Her son said, "I don't think I'll ever go back to feeling like I did before I learned about all the people who died." Can you imagine your 9-year-old child coming to that realization? She writes, "I fear that our country will fall back into the convenient state of ambivalence and feigned ignorance." She writes, "I fear that nothing will change and I'll eventually find myself telling the same lie to my 2 younger children as well." And then she kind of ends, she says she's back in her room and she's crying and she's thinking to her son, "The last time you were safe was in my womb. In my womb, I could shield you from the world and the ugliness of white supremacy and hatred." But then she realizes, well, she says it very well. She says, "But then I remembered the disproportionate rate of black maternal and infant mortality in this country." So she recalibrates it. She says, "The last time you were truly safe was in my dreams, in that ephemeral space of hope and possibilities where I imagined who you might be and the life that you might live." Let's try to make the dreams of every parent in America, every child in America, every person in America come true. We should all have access to the American dream, to a dream of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness in a country that is colorblind and where, regardless of your race, your religion, your gender, or gender identity, that you can still climb as high as you choose in America. Obviously, that's not the country we have right now. It's not the country we've ever had, really, for anybody outside of, I was going to say a small group of white people. It's a fairly large group of white people, by and large. But let's make America rise up to and live to and become the ideals that we at the very least claimed it was founded on.